Can you talk more about the seer becoming subtler and subtler?
Sure, it's a good question. So have you ever on your walks felt like more of an openness? And have you ever on your walks felt more of like blinders on? So when the blinders are on, you say, what's happening with the blinders being on right now? What's going on? Is there a cause or something that precedes the blinders being on? And if we look at it, it's typically caused by some kind of conflict that we have within ourselves or with another person, which is a sense of separation. And it's accompanied by pain and suffering. And it feels very constricted, restricted, and our actual seeing becomes very limited. Now, as that begins to open up, if you think about whenever you've been on your walk and you've been more open, the actual seeing becomes larger from this to more open. And the more open, the more there's a sense of surrender, a sense of acceptance, and a sense of allowance. Allowance means allowing that whatever is being seen is what's supposed to be happening in that moment. And when that happens, the ego does not arise. It stays dormant. And so there's a simple perception and allowance or noticing or observing or witnessing without judgment, without trying to make it different in that moment. And that is a more subtle level when there's a more of an opening than when there's more constricted with the blinders on. And it's typically, you'll see when the blinders are on, there's a looking down. And when there's an openness, there's a looking up, or at least all around, taking everything in.
I'm not sure about the conflict part. I'll have to think about that, but it does seem that when the blinders are on, there's a mental focus on something. I'm working on something. Mm-hmm. The mind is working at something.
Yes. So it's working on one particular object, and then you naturally become the subject and the ego rises. Mm. Mm. The conflict happens, as Susan and I wrote in the newsletter, when I'm pointing at something saying you or it or this situation is not the way I like it. And I'm pointing, and so we notice that there's 3 fingers pointing back. and so when we notice that the 3 fingers are pointing back, we start focusing on the three fingers and not the finger pointing. And when we withdraw the finger pointing, the subject and the object unify. And what's left is the thumb pointing to pure consciousness, or Brahman, or God, or higher power. And then we have a unifying experience, and we say, oh, it's all one. And then this can even relax into the what used to be the object and the subject. And now there's not even an experience of oneness, but it's all folded back. And when it's folded back, a relaxation occurs, and then again you have the original state of the empty hand being open to anything happening. So even this is tense. There's tension in here to keep the thumb up. And then when it relaxes and the total annihilation happens, that we're talking about, then there's a natural, what Ramana talks about, the natural state. There's a natural relaxation where everything's open. And the hand is open. It's no longer seen as separate entities. So the process of self-inquiry, or any sadhana really, is to pull this back. And to notice the three fingers pointing at oneself, and there's one pointing outside. And that there's energy going this way, and there's outwards, and there's energy going inwards. And that's the conflict. I want it this way, but the world's this way. And it creates a tension. And the more that we talk about our own preferences or desires, and it's not that way, there's a big stretch. And there's a lot of tension. And so it's about bringing it back. And so the self-inquiry would be, okay, look what's happening here. Let's just even look at the mechanism. It's pointing this way, and it's three pointing back that way. And so let me accept what is, drawing it back. Let me look at what's happening here. There's a relaxation happens. Then there's a focus on pure consciousness, God, love, higher power. And that is where only a teacher can take you up to, is here. Thumbs up. You guys got it. Thumbs up. You're doing your sadhana good. Thumbs up. That's all a teacher can do. And then whenever it happens, then the ultimate annihilation happens, dissolution comes, and it just all dissolves. And then there's a natural state, open relaxation. The hand. And then it's no longer viewed as it's no longer viewed as pointing out this way, that way up, all these different directions, but simply as the hand at its resting point.
Bala, can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yes.
So this has me thinking about the term shoreless, like endless, something that is not between two ends. This is between two ends. I mean, we could say I work in a jail. So that is two ends. And then there's work, and then there's jail, right? So, or I like you, you know. So again, it's between ends, two ends that's happening. So, and then if one thinks and realizes that there is underlying subtlety which has led to this, then all of these are objects. Then I, work, and jail are objects, which have come into being from another underlying reality. So that means that's finger getting a little closer. Okay. Um,
And also, anytime there something doesn't go your way, it's an opportunity to investigate into the three fingers. It's because we're pointing. It's not happening to my way I want to do it. Automatically, if you can look at, well, what is it that I want? You're looking at the three fingers, and but the crucial part of this is, how is this, the egoistic desires, taking me away from my connection to pure consciousness or higher power of God or Allah or whatever. So I think it's fairly easy after a while to withdraw the energy. What's more difficult is to see, how is the desire getting in the way of me seeing that connection with pure consciousness.